Yo, it's JSF, and today I want to talk about a fighting game that I've never really played. I don't know if any of y'all played, but it's a fighting game that's coming out soon. So a lot of people are talking about it, and there's a lot of just people having different opinions on it, and I wanted to talk about it. If you read the title of this video, I'm sure you know I'm talking about Melty Blood, and I want to talk about Melty Blood's character design specifically. There are basically two sides to this. There's Lord Majin Obama on one side. Shout out to Majin Obama, who's saying, "Yo, what do you mean the characters look cool? The gameplay looks sick as fuck. The game looks amazing. Like, this game looks lit. This game's gonna be crazy." Then there's Lord Hook Gang God on the other side. Big shouts to Hook, and he's like, "Yo, these characters have absolutely no drip. These characters look extremely whack." And I want to talk about both sides, but I want to more so explain why the characters are the way they do and the problem with the character designs. So if you don't know what Melty Blood is, it is an anime fighting game. It's made by French Bread, I believe, and the characters in Melty Blood, there's been Melty Blood games in the past, but I'm speaking about the newest game coming out. Melty Blood Type Lumina comes out in like September. If you look at the revealed roster for the game so far, it's like pretty generic anime trope characters, right? Like the the main character is Shiki. He's literally just a schoolboy, right? Then the second main character is just like random teenager looking anime girl, right? Then you got like a schoolgirl, some maids. It just keeps going, right? And the thing is, I understand why the character designs are this way. For those of you who don't know, Melty Blood isn't really the franchise. Melty Blood comes from a franchise called Tsukihime, which is an anime visual novel. So yeah, they look like, shoujo anime characters because that's what they are. They're not characters who are designed with fighting games in mind. These characters were designed for just like telling a story in like anime drama or whatever the genre of the visual novel is. I have not read it or watched it. Not really my cup of tea. So if you look at the characters and think, well, they look like generic ass anime characters, any shonen or shoujo anime like would have these characters in it, you would be correct because that's what they come from. So if that's the explanation of why the character designs look so bland, why it's just like, oh, a student, oh, another student, oh, a maid, oh, another student, except he's homeless, oh, a nun. Like, that's why the designs are just like regular, whereas other fighting games, you have crazy shit like ninjas and fucking people from outer space or whatever you have in your fighting game, right? You have a dude with a leopard head who's a wrestler in Tekken. It's pretty insane, right? The problem with this is this doesn't have to be the case, right? I'm gonna use an example that's probably not the greatest example, but it is similar. It is an example of what you could have done with Melty Blood, and that example is gonna be from Injustice, right? I didn't come to the FGC through the anime fighting game world. I came through the NRS fighting game world, so I'm very familiar with Injustice. Specifically, I mean Injustice 1, right? Why am I bringing up Injustice when I'm talking about Melty Blood? Because if you look at the characters in Injustice, right, they're based on DC Comics superheroes. Well, they are DC Comics superheroes, right? Now, superheroes fight and they have costumes and all that kind of shit, yes. But all their costumes are kind of just designed to be like aesthetically cool, or they're designed to look like some 1950s strongman type shit. Basically, it's a bunch of dudes in spandex tights, right? So when Injustice came out, they redesigned the characters. Now, they didn't really need to do this, but it was interesting to me that they chose to do this. So in Injustice 1, if you look at Batman, The Flash, Superman, whoever, their costume designs are more armored. They're more like battle ready. It looks like they designed these costumes. It's basically, if you know what the Dark Knight Returns Batman looks like, it's like they did that, but their own style. They did that for every character, right? So they redesigned every character's costume. So where they're still similar, they're still recognizable. You still know who that character is by looking at them, but they have a more fighting game, like a more Mortal Kombat-ish design. Now, I say that to say, I feel like that's what they should have or could have done with Melty Blood. You could have had the same characters, but you could have put them in a different outfit, right? Like, you didn't have to have them fight in the schoolboy outfit, the schoolgirl outfit. Like, you could have put some shoulder pads on them or something. Like, you know what I mean? You could have did a little bit of something. And it's not to say that every character design in this game is horrible. I honestly, this is probably a surprise, I think one of the maids designs is really cool. I say one because I don't think you need two maids. I think you can get everything you need to get out of the maid trope in one character. I get that they're two different characters, they have different moves, different play styles. I get it, bro. But any character in any fighting game can be forced to be unique. Any game. I can put a character that's a literal piece of shit in a fighting game and make them have a unique playstyle, right? It's not about that. It's about like you kind of get the maid trope already. Like you don't need to do it twice. Like it's kind of just an extra. Like I don't know why they do it. I'm not super into Melty Blood like that, but I think Kohaku is very, very interesting. I think her design is actually interesting. Even I think she is probably the only character in this game that could be in another fighting game and look interesting. Because she actually fights with a broom. So she actually has a weapon. She has a lot of summons. She puts out trees that do different things. She literally, when she air dashes, she literally turns into a witch and flies on her broom and drops Molotovs. I think that's cool as hell. I think that's very, very interesting. But sadly, every other character is just human who punches and kicks. And I know that may not sound like, well, except for CL. I can't say that for CL. CL does have these three blades, the nun-looking character. She has these blades that she throws at you, so she has something going for her, right? Shiki, he's got a tiny little knife. I'm sorry, I'm not really counting that. Literally every other character is just human who punches and kicks. Well, Hisui, the other maid, uses like, she puts out bento boxes and hits you with a chair. But my issue is, you know what I mean, character designs directly influence character playstyles. This is why it matters. So if anybody is wondering, who cares? Why does it matter what the characters are wearing? Why does it matter what kind of drip they have? Why does it matter if it's a schoolboy or schoolgirl? Their character designs in fighting games directly relate to character playstyles. If you look at Mortal Kombat, Scorpion is a literal undead hellspawn fucking skeleton head fire breathing ninja, right? That directly relates into his playstyle. So he can do some ninja shit like throw his fucking rope chain kunai at you and pull you back. He can slice you up with swords, and he can breathe fucking fire. Like that's just one example, right? Like your design is gonna directly influence the way you fight, what your abilities are, what you do. And I've watched every trailer for Melty Blood, even though I have no interest in playing this game. I've watched every single character trailer, and aside from 2 of the characters out of the 8, the rest of them look like just humans who punch and kick. And I mean, that's just not like, even in Street Fighter, even if you say Ryu from Street Fighter or Ken is just, oh, that's just a human who punches and kicks. It's like, yeah, but at least they can shoot fireballs from their hands. At least they can do something. And those characters were designed in 1991, 1992, before that actually, 1987 I think, or 86. But you know what I mean? So like you've got so much time to make characters more interesting than that. And when you look at a game like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, look at a game like Guilty Gear, which is the game a lot of us are playing right now or about to be coming off of playing to play Melty Blood. It's kind of just like a joke to compare Melty Blood characters to Guilty Gear players. Or Guilty Gear characters, because Guilty Gear characters are just way more interesting. Even the most basic ones like Soul and Kai. Soul has a giant ass big lighter that's also a sword, and he can do all kind of crazy shit with it, right? Like he can literally slide across the entire screen with that shit, low profile, everything, and blow you the hell up. Like you can do all kind of cool shit. I'm sure characters in this game have DPs. I'm sure they have command grabs. I'm sure they have mix-ups. I get all that. But my point is, it doesn't look interesting. It's not visually appealing. And like, it just doesn't, the characters don't seem that unique. Like I see Akiha has like some red circle fireball ring that she can throw out. And while that's cool, that seems like the only thing she can do. And it's like, that's her entire moveset gimmick. She throws that little hoop out and all she does is punch and kick other than that, right? Arcueid, however you say her name, all she does is punch and kick. Shiki, all he does is punch and kick and slash with his little knife. I already spoke about her and the maids. Koma is a grappler. All he does is punch, kick, and grab. And the little lowly character they just revealed, all she does is punch and kick. Like, it's just kind of dry. It's not that like, there's no character in this game that I look at besides Kohaku. She's the only character in the game that looks any type of interesting. Every other character looks boring. Hisui would be interesting if Kohaku wasn't in the game. I think it's kind of overkill to do like, hey, look, we've got a maid character. I think that's interesting, but then, oh, but we got another one. It's like, the novelty kind of wears off. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about Melty Blood's character designs and why like people are even talking about it, why it's even a conversation, and why it even matters. Because character designs will directly influence gameplay. And gameplay is important. If I'm buying a game with a character, I want a character that feels cool or feels fun, looks interesting or looks fun or looks something. Like, I need something to draw me into the game. If you're somebody who's been playing Melty Blood for 10 years, you already like the game. You're already interested. You're already invested. You're happy a new one's coming out. If you're not already invested in Melty Blood, they need to draw you in. And there's nothing about any of these characters that will draw me into paying $60 for like 10 characters in this game. Like, I just don't see it. And the stages don't look that great. The characters and the stages don't blend that well. It's not the prettiest game in the world. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look ugly. But it doesn't look like, when you compare it to other modern fighting games, it doesn't look that great. The characters look boring. And the gameplay looks alright, but like, it's just special effects, right? The gameplay is just, no matter how much flames and energy or whatever the hell you're putting around the characters, it's literally just punches and kicks, and that's all it is. And like, to expect me as somebody who's played other fighting games like Mortal Kombat, where there's a dude who can literally turn you into fucking ice, like there's characters that can do all kinds of kooky, crazy, fantastical shit that looks cool, and expect me to be impressed by a game full of teenagers punching and kicking each other. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is the issue. This is the real issue. Like, we're saying the characters look trash or look poor or look bland or have no drip, but what we mean is the designs are boring, the gameplay looks boring. That's basically what it means. Or the gameplay is gonna be, it can only be so exciting if the characters look this whack. But anyway, I didn't make this video to shit on Melty Blood. If you like Melty Blood, buy the game, support it, support French bread and all that. But I just wanted to explain why the character designs are bad. Like, they're bad because they're based on their Tsukihime characters, but they're also bad because they're bad for fighting games. In fighting games, you can't have bland, boring character designs. Like, nobody would play a fighting game of superheroes and their alter egos with no costumes. Like, imagine Bruce Wayne in a suit, Clark Kent in a suit, you know what I mean? Wonder Woman in a dress. Like, it would just not look that cool. That's the best example I can give on the top of my head. But anyway, I've probably been talking for too long. So other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I hope Melty Blood is successful. I'm sure there's some interesting characters somewhere in the roster, but I've seen like 30 different schoolgirls, so I'm kind of good on this game. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all stay safe. JSF, I'm outie. Peace.